Hey guys, it's Adrenis again. We're going to be covering another tutorial, this time featuring bows, one of my favorite thrust weapons, one of the most powerful thrust weapons in my opinion in the game. We're going to talk about both black attired Xenon and first shoot Xenon, how to activate their chains, how to use them together and separately. Now, not everybody has both bursts, so we'll cover that aspect as well. So, I'm going to be fighting the Samurai Lord just because he's a nice easy thrust boss that you can do while I'm breaking this down. And of course, you know, who doesn't love partying with Keybow? So, first off, I like to start my personal rotation with the Easter skill, Shy Looping Xenon. The reason why is the bonus attack damage you get is awesome for taking that boss down that much faster. If you've got Cute Vampire Xenon, it does the same thing. It's going to give you extra attack damage based on your overall attack stat. So, wonderful for bows. So while we're staying out of range and off in his blind spot, firing off shots from the distance, to start this chain for black attired, any fire skill will work. I'm going to use the burst itself. So it is a burst skill, fire skill, 2 random thrust skills, and then another burst. You can use a skill like Fluffy Smile Yuki to start the chain, however you want to do it, reduce that time on your skills. I always use first shoot Xenon as the third skill in the rotation. The reason why is it's going to give you a crit damage and a crit rate buff, which is going to give you that huge bonus from the black attired Xenon, which is extra crit rate and extra crit damage. So who doesn't love double buff? Now, if you have skills like Wonder Hat that can give you bonus damage according to your hit points, that's a wonderful skill to throw in the rotation. It's going to give you so much extra power. Holy Present Xenon is wonderful because you get Frostbite. And then, of course, you've got the Sniper Eye Xenon, which is going to give you burn damage, which is great if you've got like Valentine's Day Kirito, Veg Kirito, any of those skills that are going to give you bonus damage for ailments. So you can throw any of those in there to meet that extra thrust qualification in the chain. All that matters is that fire starts you out and the burst finishes you up. So for the second fight, we're going to cover specifically first shoot Xenon. Now, the big difference in it, you can open the chain with anything thrust at all. You can be running a spear set or a rapier set, activate a thrust skill, and then all of a sudden switch to bows and wind and then burst. So I'm going to use Shy Looping again for that extra bonus damage. But what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to use my other skills because I want to show you how to activate this if it's the only skill in your inventory, as it does require wind back to back. So what you do is you equip it in that 4th slot, initiate the rotation for the chain, and then as soon as that switch gauge is full, which you'll have to bear with me while I fill that baby up, I'm going to use the burst to finish off filling out my switch, use the switch itself, which is going to give me those bonus crit rate and crit damage, but it's also going to qualify me as my wind skill, which is going to activate my burst skill. So you'll notice as I use this burst, there's a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, depending on where I'm standing. What that means is your range. You're going to want to be at the maximum of the 1.3 for the most damage you can possibly dish out. Other honorable mentions for a run like this are Calm Archer Xenon for that extra wind qualifier. And then, of course, there's a wonderful little Asana skill out there that you can use to do a defense break. It's a 3-star that upgrades into a 4-star. It's going to give you a little extra damage against the boss. But any variation of these skills, as long as you have that thrust, wind, will activate the burst. Now let's talk about my favorite category, weapon proficiency. You've got the bow training, which is going to give you the bonus attack damage. You've got the flash, which is going to give you critical activation rate right after switch, which is going to trigger a little bit extra damage. The crit is always going to be optimum. Now, basic stance, as I've said in other videos, that's something you leave off until you're far deeper in the game and you've just got RCS to burn, which right now I don't, most of us don't. It's not something that just grows on trees, so you probably want to just put it off for later. Precise shot is going to give you bonus damage to any boss or mob that's weak to thrust. Wonderful for bows. Proof of Archer, when your bow is equipped, it's going to shorten your time on your charge skills like Fluffy Smile Yuki, or on any other skill really that you have to hold down the button in order to activate the extra range. Wonderful, because it's just going to get you out of the boss's attack radius that much quicker, which is key when you're trying to stay bows, as a lot of your skills, some of which we're about to cover, require you to be at 75% hit points. Now, Survival Instinct, hit points is always wonderful. It's going to make Wonder Hat hit harder. it's going to make any skills based on HP hit that much harder. After that, we're going to have Predator's Keen Eye, which is when your bow is equipped, you're going to get bonus attack for any enemy lower than 50%. So just gives you a chance to do a little bonus extra damage when the enemy drops below half health. You're just going to hit that much harder the longer the fight goes on. And who doesn't love more damage? Which leads us right into Weapon Knowledge. This is another across all weapons stat. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stat. Anytime you can put points in Weapon Knowledge on any weapon, all you're doing is making yourself better across the board. So absolutely, I would say take to 10. Don't waste time on this one. This is even possibly a priority over the stats coming next, just because it helps everything. Now, Crescent Moon and Bow's Secret. I don't have these yet, but we're going to go ahead and cover them because they're wonderful extra perks. Crescent Moon is going to give you a buff anytime you have a bow, and you're going to get extra attack 20 seconds right after the switch, which is going to stack with that crit rate you get right after switch from a previous weapon proficiency ability. Now, Bow's Secret is just more attack. All of these are going to do is buff up skills like Shy Lupin, like Cute Vampire, and make all of your skills in general just hit that much harder. So this is kind of a breakdown of what you can expect from weapon proficiency in bows. One extra thing that I advise people when you're farming with bows, something that it will help you out a whole lot, is you can go into your settings and you can turn off your auto target. What this is going to do is when you are firing off those charge up skills, when that one mob decides to run left, run right, run behind you and pull you away from the whole mob, you're not going to chase him with your skill. Now, that's just going to help you to basically, you're going to hold the skill down just like I am right here, where it's going to stay in one spot and you can hit the whole group, and that stray mob, you can pull him back in without having to have thrown a skill off for one single target.
One last thing I'm going to cover before I wrap up, guys, is the skill Silent Archer Seen On. This is a wonderful solo skill. It's something that you can use when you are farming weapon experience. It drags aggro over to you and off of anyone else in the party. This is not something you want in quick party. It's not something you want anytime you're running a guild run, because it's going to drag aggro off of people who are trying to do up close and personal combat, and it's going to defeat your purpose of bows, which is staying far away in those blind spots so you can keep up modifiers that require you to not take damage. So do everybody a favor, guys, and in party search, quick parties, guild battles, leave that baby in your inventory, not on your toolbar. Thank you guys again for supporting another one of my videos. This is everything I've got to say about bows, and if you guys have any comments, gripes, complaints, put them in the comments. Thanks a lot.